I got to tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves when you go anywhere, especially, I don't know, maybe it's just me as an individual and not the whole generation, but I'm pretty sure anybody around my age, my generation, you get this same damn pet peeve. And that's this BS, all this self-checkout everywhere. I mean, they talk about how it's supposed to be greater and it's supposed to be better and it's supposed to be easier and it would make products cheaper. Well, that's the same thing Piggly Wiggly said in the beginning when they first did the thing where instead of the store clerk went and gathered all the items and brought them to you, that you shopped around yourself and then went to a cashier and checked yourself out that way. And that was in the early 1900s. But now we're sitting here and they got these self-checkout everywhere and they claim it's faster and it's better. And we all know it was because they wanted to reduce cost and cut employee wages. Because we went from a manufacturing-based economy, customer service-based economy, and they talk customer service, but there isn't any with the self-checkout. Now you got self-checkouts. You don't have checkouts actually open anymore. You got self-checkouts, but they have way more employees sitting around self-checkouts now watching you because the theft rate at self-checkouts is so high. They have to hire more staff than they originally had in order to monitor the self-checkouts and make sure that customers aren't stealing. And anybody that's used them damn machines knows that no matter what you do, somewhere in there, that machine is accusing you of theft. And it's there like, please put in the bagging area, or please wait for assistance. Well, the only reason you have to wait for assistance is because the machine has detected something and is calling shenanigans and is basically accusing you of stealing from the store. And that's why the clerk has to come over and check. It has nothing to do with a malfunction in the machine itself. It's because it didn't work to the exact specific program that it wants for the people to go through like a bunch of zombies, and bam, it calls theft. And there are so many people that steal from these things. You go to any self-checkout and watch. I've been to Walmarts that have like 45 self-checkout stands, and they have 10 old checkout aisles, and they're still there, but they don't use them. They're not open. A few times I bitched and forced them to open because you go to the self-checkout, and one of the big things I've noticed, and I'm going to pick on Walmart here because specifically I've noticed it the most with Walmart, is the price on the shelf and on the barcode that they have on the shelf does not match the price that shows up at the self-checkout. And they say, oh, you got to grab the right product. Oh, no, you go and tear the barcode off and everything off the shelf, and it's the same barcode, and it's the same item right down to the serial number, but the actual scanned barcode itself on the product that you're putting through is a little bit different than the one on the shelf, but it's the exact same product with the product number and everything. And they go, well, I can't do anything about it. That's what it says. That's the way it's supposed to be. Well, no. And then you go, well, you got to go do your own price checking and confirm it and take photos and do all that. And said, okay, so I went down. I tore all the tags off the frickin' shelf, brought them up with me and give them to them and said, look, you people make me do this. I'm going to take them all and come do this and to hell with you guys. I made them open a regular checkout where you'd actually get one of their managers to come in, override the system, and give it to me at the actual price it was listed at, not what the self-checkout machine said. Because they bank on the fact that when you're going through self-checkout, you're not going to notice. When you're going through the checkout and they do all the scanning, you pay attention to the prices they're running the product through. But when you're doing self-checkout, you don't pay as much attention to the price on the screen as you're checking it out because you're more worried about, did it scan? Is it in the bag? Is this? And then you're eyeballing the people because they'll have a couple people standing there going, just staring at you because they're watching you. And so you're not paying as much attention to the number on the screen. And then you pay and you walk out and you realize it's not the same. But you go back and they always are going to have the excuse now and be like, well, you rang yourself through. That's not on us. You should have paid more attention when you checked yourself out. And they use all this idea now is because, oh, it's everybody, the theft rate has gone so up. But you want to stop the theft rate and you want to cut back on your staff, get rid of the 30 people that watch the 45 self-checkouts and open your damn 15 till lines that you had in the first place and put people through there. I mean, it was okay. I liked it when they had the original hybrid system, when they had like the 10 checkouts and then they had like 8 self-checkout stands where they would have 1 or 2 people there in case there was a problem. And they always said something like, under 15 items or under 20 items, and you could use the self-checkout. Other than that, you had to go through the regular till because they wanted to make sure that everything got scanned in properly. Well, no, that ain't happening anymore because they're banking on the fact that you don't do it, and then they bank on the fact that they're going to catch you stealing. They'll toss you out. They won't refund for the money that you've already paid because they wait when they go into a check, especially this is Walmart shtick, man. They catch you going through the self-checkout and they wait until you've paid at the self-checkout, and then they'll ding you for the stealing. But are they going to refund the money they took for the items that the person paid for? Now, I understand the person was a piece of shit and they stole. But then they take all the items back, and they keep the money you paid, and they charge this person, and they get a fine. They most likely hit for some sort of restitution on it, and they are banking, and that is becoming a business model for these people. That's why they won't eliminate the self-checkouts now when they say that the theft rate is too high at self-checkout and they got to come up with a way, because they're working in a new business model where they're essentially going to double dip on individual products and take the loss that way. I guarantee it. This is what we're going to see now. And it's horrible and it's shit. And it can't just be me as an individual. I mean, this definitely has to be a generational thing, because us older, the Gen X's and the baby boomers that are there, we're not the zombies walking through the store and spending all our time on the phone while we're checking out and not paying attention, and you pay with your phone and all that. And I mean, you shouldn't do that, for one. That's just idiotic, because most of these companies have it rigged in that if you're paying to your phone, or you have a card that you can tap to pay or anything like that, if you read the fine print, people, you gotta learn to read, especially younger generations. There's no more protection from theft or fraud on your account. Someone gets in and they're like, well, you authorized to pay that way and you absolved us from all responsibility if someone steals your info. You gotta cut back on the electronics. It's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And it can't just be a generation thing. I know this Gen Xer hates it with a passion. But it can't just be me. There has to be more people. Anyway, that's it for now. This is Drac saying until next time, peace out, everybody, and love y'all, man. Love y'all.